now, I would ask you to go to your computer or a web browser of some sort to be able to log in and be able to get into the meeting. If not, then I have information about how you can submit questions to me after the meeting, and I will follow up with you as soon as I can. So just hang tight, and I'll get to that in the presentation if you can't get to a computer.
Stephanie, I think the one caller that we do have is John Richard Patterson with Kimley Horn.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, he won't be able to communicate with us, but he can listen to the presentation.
Okay.
So I don't know. I have my phone. If someone texts me, have any other questions or anything like that. So, all right, 6:02. I will give it maybe 2-3 more minutes to see if anyone else joins in, and then after that, I will get started. Go ahead and get started. We've had one more person join. We're recording this, so we can at least have it available on YouTube later tonight. So just for ways of introduction, my name is Stephanie McCullough. I'm with the Community Plans Division of the Metro Planning Department, and we are here to talk about a amendment to the South Nashville Community Plan 2021 CP-011-001. And the location is at Lebanon, Pike, and Spence Lane. If any of you are watching this and you have anyone else who wants to join, then I have the link to the video there. You can go to nashville.gov/planning department, long range planning, community plans, South Nashville, or nashville.gov/MPC, and then go to the calendar link toward the bottom of the page, and you should be able to see the South Nashville Community Plan meeting. That's only for tonight. If you're watching this on the video, then this is the video. And if you have any questions, you'll see my contact information a little further down into this meeting. Okay, let's see if I can get my slides to work. Okay, so as I said, my name is Stephanie McCullough. I am in the Community Plans Division of the Metro Nashville Planning Department. I have with me Amelia Lewis, who is with the Land Development Plans. She's in our top window there. I did not put your name on, I'm sorry. And then from the applicant team, we have Brendan Bowles and Andrew Stevens. Brendan is from Kimley Horn and Andrew is from Wood Partners. Okay, so the meeting logistics, a little bit to go over what we have going on tonight. Like I said, the meeting web link is on the South Nashville Community Plan if you're watching this like right away, and you can click on that and watch and join us on the video. If you're calling in, then unfortunately you can only listen in, and if you have any questions, then I will read out my email information, email and phone number, so that you can contact me with any questions. If you're in the audience or the attendee list, which we have about 4 or 5 people right now, your audio will be muted until the Q&A session, and then if you want to ask a question yourself, then you can click to raise your hand. I'll talk about that in just a second. Or if you want to type in a question at any point during the conversation we're having right now, you can do that as well. This meeting is being recorded, as I mentioned, so if you miss it or if you have friends who need to watch it this week, then it will be on the on YouTube, either on the MNN webpage or the Planning Department's page. I'm trying to get that finalized here in just a little bit, but check both of those. If you have any questions, you can always contact me and I'll get you there. Okay. All right. So for those of you who have not used a WebEx meeting session with us, on the right-hand side of your screen, typically, you will have a list of participants. Probably won't show anything but the panelists, but know that you're not alone in this situation. I think I have 5 people so far on the call right now. So you can click and raise your hand, which is a little icon beside your name, or you can go to the bottom of the Q&A session and type in a question to everyone. Make sure you do it to all, so I don't miss anything. Okay. All right, so my email is stephanie.mccullough@nashville.gov. I know my name is a mouthful. It's a lot of letters. So it's Stephanie, Stephanie.mccullough@nashville.gov. Or you can give me a call at 615-880-3239. And please, please, please leave me a voicemail. I'm in and out of the office right now with trying to transition back into the office, so I don't always catch everything right away. But if you leave me a voicemail, I will get back to you as soon as I can. Okay. So tonight, the purpose of this meeting, I'm going to go through kind of why we're talking about a plan amendment, what it means to amend the plan, a little bit about the background of community planning in Nashville, the difference between policy and zoning, go over what is entailed, what is included in the requested land use policy, a potential timeline for adoption of this and the rezoning request. And then there'll be an opportunity for the applicant to present anything or give any comments, and then we'll open it up for questions. So again, I'm going to describe the proposed changes to the plan, to the community plan, the process for making those changes. We're here to gather your feedback, so let me know what you feel about the project, whether you weigh in right now or right after the meeting. We're here to hear what you have to say about this. And then with all of that information, in addition to the work that we have done to research and analyze the process, we will make recommendations to the Planning Commission. So here we are in the study area. We've got Lebanon Pike running east-west across the site. We have a rail line, and then next to that, you have Spence Lane. And so the outline of the study area is in red here. You have Mount Olivet Cemetery to the south. This is a civic use here, and then of course you have some residential to the side, and then it gets more. This is more of a suburban kind of pattern, but then you get more urban on the opposite side of Spence Lane. But the idea is to bring in a mixed use kind of feel to this area. So this is the current policy. As you see, you have the T4 mixed use neighborhood policy around this study area, which is in the dotted line here, which remained as district industrial when we previously had a conversation about this project in 2019. Okay, so just a little bit about community planning in Nashville. We have 14 community plans for the entire county, and these plans and the conversations around them guide decision making for the future built in natural environments. So we have the zoning on the ground right now as it is, but if there's an intent to change the direction of how that zoning goes in the future, then you would make those decisions through policy. And so whenever anyone was ready to make to rezone property or just decide a different use for that property, then they would look at these guiding documents to guide that. And this is not the North Nashville Community Plan. I did not edit my slides very well, but this is the South Nashville Community Plan, as you can see here on the map here. So as part of that process, we have what is called the Community Character Manual, which is the tool we use to explain and institute community character policies through each community plan. So this is like the kind of general guidance for the entire county, and then you go into the community plans that give additional details to that. The Community Character Manual provides direction for the use of implementation tools. It's a big word. Implementation tools such as zoning or urban design overlays or different things like that. And they help shape the form and character of a community with the community input. They're based on the transect, and so what we're working with right now is the urban transect, which is more dense than it's number 4 on the list of density. So if you're looking at this list here, open space would have fewer buildings, whereas downtown would be extremely dense, or centers would be as dense but have a different purpose than the downtown. Okay, so why are we here? Why are we talking about policies? Why are policies important? As I said, these policies guide the Planning Commission's recommendations to the Metro Council for those zone changes. So you look at the policy and decide whether or not it makes sense for a certain area to be industrial versus residential. And we look at the policy and what the intent for that area to move toward is, what the area is moving toward as guidance for that. Zone change requests that are consistent with the existing policies or that they match with the existing policies that are going in the area have a higher likelihood of approval and recommendation for the Planning Commission. The only reason you would have a chance, you would change the policy in this situation is if the current zone change request is not consistent with the existing policy, and so therefore you would go into this conversation, which is the case or in the case of the larger conversation in 2019, there is a desire for this area to change from what it's already been listed as and what we had looked at it as for Nashville Next. the community in the area decided, determined that we want to move forward. We want to change the policy. So they had a series of community meetings to discuss that, came to the Planning Commission and said, this is what we're looking for. And we helped facilitate that change. And lastly, to change the community plan, public engagement is required. So this is what this meeting is for, to give people an opportunity to understand what's going on with the project and to weigh in on that. So planning versus zoning, what's the difference? So the land use policy is the guidance and vision for the area, and then the zoning is what is actually what makes the changes and what dictates what can be built on the property. All right. Am I going too fast, or is everyone okay? I'm looking at my panelists to see if I'm going too fast here. We good? Cool. Thank you. Okay, so right now, the current policy for the area is district industrial with pieces of conservation. And the requested policy is the T4 urban mixed use policy. So you can see here on the map, I hope you can see, can you see that I'm pointing? Okay, cool. So this is the study area in the dotted area, and it has the district industrial policy with the conservation, which is the conservation in this area in particular is because of slopes. But then the larger area has a T4 mixed use policy that was adopted in 2019 as part of that larger project through the community engagement from the city side neighborhood group. So district industrial policy, it is applied to maintain, create, or enhance areas that are dominated by one or more industrial activities. In this case, it's more of like a parking lot for buses that are school buses or Greyhound buses, in addition to those kind of like ancillary uses. District industrial policies are strategically located and thoughtfully designed to serve the overall community or region, but not at the expense of the immediate neighbors. So we weigh in whether or not this is like a suitable use for the area within and how it impacts the larger community. And types of uses for district industrial are, non-hazardous manufacturing, distribution centers, or mixed business parks, and those supportive uses. So sometimes you'll see things like little smaller cafes, restaurants, gas stations, things like that to support these district industrial policies within that same area. The requested policy is a T4 urban mixed use neighborhood. And this particular policy it encourages a variety of housing types, mixed use commercial, institutional, and some light industrial development within the area, which is something that has been talked about within the larger community. And it's served by high levels of connectivity. So you make sure that the street networks are complete so that you can, you have a grid system or more than one option to get around the neighborhood or within the area. Sidewalks for pedestrians, bikeways for other mobility options, and existing or planned mass transit, which are all things that are kind of included within this area or intended to be as part of this area with the intent of Nashville Next and the policies that had been laid out previously. So some of the things we think about when we're analyzing these sites, we look at the guidance from the planning documents. So like I said, we look at, again, North Nashville, wow. We look at the Nashville Next, which is the overarching document that was adopted in 2015 and amended in 2017. The South Nashville Community Plan, Walk and Bike Nashville, which is through Public Works, and the Major and Collector Street Plan, which dictates what streets are our primary streets that we want to focus development on, and that will be utilized for mass transit. We look at access, again, street connections, the presence of those sidewalks and bikeways, transit facilities, and the roadway capacity. Some projects require a traffic study to determine if it's going to be too much or too much for the existing roadways. And of course, community sentiment, which is what we're here to gather right now. And then lastly, but not in any particular order, the proximity to downtown, surrounding land uses, surrounding population density, visibility of the site, and fabric of the neighborhood. Okay, so just really quickly, this is what the, in 2019, this was the area that we looked at to amend with the policy before. You've got an area of suburban neighborhood evolving that didn't quite fit with the intent of the community. And then you have this district industrial area that was also not quite what the community wanted, how they want to move forward. And so as a result, they the large community had conversations and decided that T4 urban mixed use neighborhood was the appropriate use for this area. This is where we are right now. So the at the 2019 plan amendment, the area here was amended. You can see all the purple of the T4 mixed use, but then the owners at the time decided that this that they wanted to remain district industrial. So here we are, we're back to look at adding this into the T4 mixed use neighborhood policy that was originally planned in 2019. So it's June 16th right now. The plan amendment staff report will be posted on Friday. So if you have comments to me, please get them to me as soon as you can. This is for the Planning Commission meeting on Thursday, June 24th. There is a related rezoning that is scheduled for the staff report for that will be July 16th, I think. Is that correct, Amelia? I got a thumbs up on that one. And so that would be also at the Planning Commission on July 22nd. So that's what I have. Just to show you kind of the zoning in the area. This area is zoned IWD, and the intent is for it to go RM40ANS, which is about twice as much as would be here, but with the certain confines of the site and so forth. And with that, that is all I have for now. If there are any other questions, please type them in. I see that, hi, Councilman, you have your hand up. I will get to you in just a moment. If you're listening to this on the phone and you have questions, please email me at stephannie@nashville.gov, or leave me a voicemail at 615-880-3239. Okay, so with the applicant, would you like to say anything before I open it up for questions?
Stephanie, I don't.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I was going to say, I don't think so, Stephanie. I'd be glad to let Councilman Syracuse go ahead and get his questions or comments in, if that's okay.
Okay, great. Councilman Syracuse, let's see. Can I unmute, or do I need you, Kevin, to do that?
There we go. I'm on mute.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie. Appreciate it. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Guys, am I the only attendee? I only see me.
No, we have about 5. And of course, unfortunately with WebEx, we don't have the ability to show everyone on the list just yet.
I got
I'm working on it, sir.
No worries. Okay. All right. I appreciate this. Just for a little context. So I'm the council member just east of this. So Spence Lane is the border between District 19 and 15. And back in 2017 or so, I updated from Spence down to Briley when a similar community plan. Were we going to get a presentation from the developer tonight about the actual proposed development, or is this just about the community plan?
Well, this is primarily about the community plan. Amelia Lewis is on. She is reviewing the rezoning request. So far, from what I've heard from Councilman O'Connell, or by way of the community leaders for this area, that this is something that he supports. I'm not sure of the exact details behind the rezoning, because it's not an SP. It's a straight rezoning from R to RM40ANS. Sure.
Well, I appreciate the NS for sure in not having short-term rentals. So I'm certainly supportive of this going to T4. As Stephanie mentioned, that was the intent of the Cityside group, was to include this before. So that's the irony, right? Is that the first development was in the spot that was excluded from that. So I'm glad to see it be included. I am curious about to learn more about the development itself, and whatnot. This is the fringe part of the eastern part of District 19, and so I live down the street and travel this much more, of course, than Councilmember O'Connell. And so I will be getting questions from my neighbors about this. So, I know we're going to T4 urban, and this is along a US highway and a state route. I do have a little bit of concerns as far as infrastructure that supports T4 and urban with what sounds like to me, just from what I've heard so far, is basically going to be a surfaced parking apartment complex. So are we scheduled to have a specific meeting to review the plans? I realize it's not an SP, but I'd still be very interested to learn more about the specific plans of the development.
Yeah, Jeff, I think that Councilman Syracuse, I think Andrew Steffens with Wood Partners is on the call tonight, and he can give you some information tonight, or we'd be happy to follow up and meet with you separately to give you more detail about the plan. It is a straight rezoning. The Councilman O'Connell had requested that, the no short-term rentals be added to the application, which we've done. But be glad to give you more details, because I know that lots of interest, being the council boundary right here on the eastern side of Spence here, if that would work for you.
Yeah, Jeff, happy to chat more with you about it. Let me step back a little bit and see if you remember this, but I was involved in a civic design center event that I rode the train out to Donaldson. I think you might have been on it, but nonetheless, we met at the event, went to McNamara's for a couple beers and dinner after that, and chatted about future development in your district. So I do have a memory of that, and then of course I've been a multifamily developer in Nashville for about a decade now. So
Gotcha.
happy to kind of talk to you about what we've done in the past and what our plans are for this site. Of course, it's super early. We don't have anything nailed down yet. We wanted to get the neighborhood's take on the policy change and the zone change really before we got too deep into the process.
No, that's cool. Gosh, that's, of course, last year feels like 10 years. So that was a bit ago, but yeah, I do remember that trip. That's cool. I appreciate the interest, for sure, in further down in my district. Yeah, if you want to reach out, I'd love to chat with you some more about some details on this. And I'm certainly very supportive of what Cityside, and thankful for their leadership in moving the community plan forward. Yeah, I don't want to take up, if there's other people that have questions. I'm easy to find. Can you give me a call or shoot me an email and we can discuss some specifics on this?
I'll do it. I've got your email address, I'm sure, from back then a couple of years ago. So yeah, I'll reach out and maybe we'll meet at McNamara's for some Scotch eggs.
I would love that. Let's do it. Thanks.
Yeah, you bet.
All right, great.
Thank you, Stephanie.
No problem. Thank you, sir. Let's see. I don't have any other hands up, and I don't think I see any other questions unless I'm missing a tab in my screen. Kevin, can you help me? Do you see anybody with any questions?
No, Steph, I don't see any questions or any hands raised.
Okay. So, Danielle, Ms. McDaniel, would you like to speak a little bit on behalf of the neighborhood association that's been working with this project so far? Maybe that would help with help Councilman Syracuse kind of with the context of what's going on.
We always appreciate Councilman Syracuse being interested in Cityside, even though we're just on the edge of his district. He's been very, very helpful with that for us when we initially in 2019, and it was really a 3-year effort to change this area into a T4 mixed use. And as you've mentioned before, the area that we're talking about, we really wanted to include. So it is, we like seeing this happen. I've been in touch with Andrew, and we are all about the T4 mixed use. He seemed really open to visit with us during the planning and the getting some community input on what kind of apartment complex we would like to see in our area, and we really appreciate that. So I am surprised there's not more of Cityside attendees. However, I have been in touch with a lot of them, and they've asked me questions, and I've been able to answer them. So I feel like that all of Cityside, although they may not be at this particular meeting, they are aware, very aware of what's going on and what Andrew has, you know, his first proposal that he's worked with through me. So I would say that more than likely you're going to have everyone's going to be agreeable to the change, especially since we tried to do it a couple years ago, and we really want to see more residential development in this area.
Thank you, Danielle. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was
Oh, go
really,
ahead.
it's ironic that we're here just 2 years later talking about it. And I wasn't a part of the change in 2019, but when I first looked at this site for Andrew, it almost looked as if this was, carved out because of the uses that were on the site, and the T4MU is all surrounding it. So it certainly makes a lot of sense to have the mixed use, just continue across that frontage. This site is about 2.5 miles from the central business district downtown Nashville, and certainly a heavily traveled corridor, as Councilman Syracuse mentioned. So I think it'll be a good addition to the community to kind of get rid of some of this old antiquated, industrial stuff that probably changes tenants every few years or so, and get some higher value, residents in the community there.
Right. And just to speak to the policy direction on that, we don't take taking away district industrial property away lightly, because we know that that's something that's very vital to the to our business district, to our vitality as a city. So when we do this, we look at what are the uses, what is adjacent, such as the cemetery, and does it make sense for this to continue in that regard? I mean, in some ways you would say yes, because of the access to rail, like right next to Spence Lane, but at the same time, you have this as what could be a potentially viable mixed use corridor, providing housing and different things for the community that we need. So.
Yeah,
Danielle?
I'll add that, after learning more about the community and the neighborhood from Danielle, I think, obviously I feel like the demand for this is there. And then I think there really can be an interesting marriage between, some of the kind of creative community that exists that I quite frankly didn't know much about until kind of diving into this area. So I think that there's a lot of great opportunity there, and ultimately what you'll end up with is a great mix of kind of light industrial that houses a lot of the creatives in our great city, and then of course some great residential to accompany that and to be a part of that. So.
Oh, thank you. Danielle, did you have another comment? I see your hand is up.
I just wanted to say that Cityside is very committed to the mixed use, that we love having the residential, but we do have a variety of residential in this area. We have several businesses that are light industrial, and our bigger plan, although we see this corridor as being this T4 mixed use that we think really encompasses everything that we've got going on here, we're very aware of our industrial behind us and around us, and that was one reason why we were pretty committed to the mixed use, because we feel like it encompasses what's already happening here. So I appreciate Andrew's commitment, understanding that we want to stay that mixed use policy. That's all. Thank you, Stephanie, for all you've done on this as well.
My pleasure. Yeah, that's what I do. So with that, I don't think we have any other questions. I think we can call it a night. Thank you all for participating. Again, if you have anyone who has any questions, please give them my contact information. My staff report will be posted on Friday about noon. And so, yeah, we will see you. If everything goes well, then this will be on consent, most likely for the 24th. Okay. All right. Well, thank you
Stephanie,
all. Yes. Yes.
It looks like you have one hand that got raised here.
Is that Danielle's hand? Oh, no, it was Danielle.
Oh, sorry.
I think I got it. Nope.
Got it.
No problem. Good eye. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I didn't want somebody to get left out if they were
You
trying
know,
to have a comment.
exactly. Wearing bifocals, I sometimes miss things over on this side. So fair enough.
All right.
All right. With that, then thank you all. And I will give you back 25 minutes of your evening.
Thank you.
so
Have a
much.
good night. All right. Thanks.
See ya.
Good
Bye.
night. Bye.